and Professor Hunter. Professor Kalu is not here, is he?
I'm here. Good morning.
Oh, you're here. Let's first give a chance to Professor Hunter, and then he can follow. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yes. So, Professor Hunter, please. You are mute. Unmute, please. Can you unmute your network? You told us. And Ethiopian work later. Huh? After you hear everything, you'll make a comment. Okay. Unmute. Can you hear me? We're not hearing you, Professor Hunter.
ይጻፍላቸው ወይ ፕሮፌሰር?
What should we do? Should I? Can you please unmute? Okay. How do I say? Brukiye, can you tell him to unmute? Or you speak and then is this a network issue? I don't know.
I think so.
I think
He's
network,
on mute now.
Yeah.
Professor Hunter Adams, could you say something? Okay, no, he's on mute now, but would you please say something?
I think he has network issues.
Okay. Maybe
I think there's a
need
network.
To...
It must be network. Yeah. No, I think can we just not to lose time. Professor Kalu, can you go in? Professor Kalu is a founding director of the Osiri University, which is a very wonderful university, which is linked to the philosophy of Ubuntu, which is an African philosophy. Our knowledge heritage is very much highlighted by this university. And so he will probably tell us a little bit about that too. So we welcome you and we appreciate you for joining us and being a partner in celebrating an important calendar, which is the African calendar.
Most certainly, Professor Mamo Muche, thank you so much for the invitation. It's a delight to be part of this celebration of the Ethiopian New Year. I really loved the presentation from the previous speaker, especially emphasizing on the importance of family, family in the Ethiopian culture. So you kicking off the new year with family in mind, with us in mind, bringing children within the vicinity of parents and the elderly ones. They're, bringing flowers to their parents. It's such a beautiful sight to imagine, and that's something we should all cherish, and something a culture that we should also spread, not just throughout Africa, but around the world. I live in Lincoln, Nebraska, and again, I'm very excited to be here. We started a university called Osiri University about 4 years ago. The university is based here in the United States. It's an American university. However, in our charter, we state clearly that we are going to operate based on the African philosophy of Ubuntu. And I have to say that it is quite a challenging task to take on. How do you infuse Ubuntu in the curriculum? How do you make a curriculum this kind of way that centers humans in the learning. So that is the challenge that we have taken on, and we are working at it. So last year, 2023, we received authorization and approval here in the US to award degrees, and we are able to award a bachelor's degree, 6 master's degree programs, and also a PhD. And I invite you all to look up Osiri University. Our website is osiriuniversity.org. And I'm going to tell you why I'm here today in celebration of this amazing, important calendar, Ethiopian New Year. And that is because part of our mission at Osiri is to not only embrace the uniqueness of Ubuntu, this African philosophy, but also to excavate, to identify and excavate and archive African culture, such as the one that we are celebrating today. So I will leave you with two important initiatives that we are currently undertaking at Osiri University, besides the coursework. So those are the two are this. One, we have created, or in the process of creating, an Ubuntu lab for the common good. An Ubuntu lab for the common good. In other words, this is going to be a think tank where we study human nature and how human nature can be influenced to adopt this Ubuntu mindset, this mindset that puts people first, the mindset that centers the community first and not just the individual. So that is the work of that lab that we are working on. And that lab will also help people around the world who are trying to infuse Ubuntu or integrate Ubuntu into whatever they are doing, into their businesses, into their education, into their leadership, government. And we're developing techniques and methods to integrate Ubuntu into their ways of being. And I give you some examples of what we are doing in our coursework. So we just have a course that happened last month. It's called Law and Ubuntu. So this course was taught by a licensed lawyer in the U.S. here, who studied here in the U.S. and practiced in the United States. But he's come onto this Ubuntu idea, and he's actually began to do some more studies and learning about Ubuntu himself, even though he's American, and he developed a course called Law and Ubuntu, and in that course, he's helping students ask the question: what will it look like if all the laws are created with people in mind? Truly, you're creating laws to help the people, not to be punitive, not to beat them down, but to actually uplift the people. What would the U.S. Look like if the Constitution of the U.S. was integrated with Ubuntu, for example? These are the kind of discussions that the students had in the class. So it's called Law and Ubuntu. And we also had another course earlier this year called the Ubuntu Mind. It is a philosophy course. And in that course, the students learn how to adopt this Ubuntu mindset. And the Ubuntu mindset, actually, what it does is it helps students become what we call scouts as opposed to soldiers. If you have a soldier mindset, what happens is you take marching orders. You've already made up your mind. You are dogmatic. So there is no room, there's not much room for growth, right? So that is how soldiers move. But the Ubuntu mindset said, no, you have to see the humanity in people. And so we need to adopt a scout mindset. A scout goes out to check out the lay of the land before making up their mind. A scout goes out to conduct research, to do survey. So we encourage students to have a curiosity of the mind, to ask questions and not be dogmatic. So that is what that course did for our students. Again, it's called Ubuntu Mind. And then, by the way, the first course was designed by Kalu Osari, who's an American lawyer. The second course was designed by Dr. Paul Easterling, who's African American and lives in Maryland. And the third course I like to also highlight at Osiri is a course on business strategy for sustainability that was developed by Professor Stephen Little. And in that course, as opposed to the traditional business strategy course, which we teach in the US, where students learn how to maximize profit. It's all about maximizing profit and shareholder value, right? That is the goal of business. But in this course developed by Professor Stephen Little at Osiri University, students are challenged to think about starting businesses with society in mind. So it could still be a for-profit. It doesn't matter whether it's for-profit or non-profit, it doesn't matter. We don't really make much distinction. It's about having a mindset that we want to develop an organization that is all about building up the family, which Ethiopia really values, building up the employees, building up society, making sure that business doesn't damage culture, doesn't damage the ecosystem, and keeps everywhere green, even as it makes a profit to remain sustainable. So that was the crux of that course. And again, it was well received by students. So that is, again, one aspect of what we are doing at Osiri. And we've taken all these lessons to create this Ubuntu lab for the common good. Again, this lab is going to take this work further to help people, like I said, integrate Ubuntu into different aspects of what they are doing, whether it's their business, whether it's government, whether it's a for-profit venture, and so on and so forth. So that is by the wayside. Now, the other thing that we are doing at Osiri is something that is very unique, and I think this group will love it. And that is, we want to create a research pipeline. We are working on a research initiative, a research consortium that will focus on indigenous knowledge. Okay, well, because we want to become a repository of knowledge that hasn't really been much talked about and discussed. So we believe that this Ethiopian calendar, how it came about, and even how it's being utilized today, is a good area for discussion and for research. How can we use the Ethiopian calendar to improve our lives? How can other Africans and how can the world also adopt the Ethiopian calendar and even practice some of the things that you all practice, such as the family bonds and activities, because all those things will nourish our humanity, will nourish our lives. And so we want to, again, work on this consortium and develop indigenous research where we identify and excavate indigenous knowledge, including aspects of the Ethiopian calendar. But of course, we move beyond the calendar and talk about other aspects of Ethiopian culture and other aspects of indigenous knowledge and culture. So those are two things I'd like to share with you all, and want to again welcome you all to check out the Osiri University and let us know how we can work with you. Once again, we do have a bachelor's degree, we have a 6 master's degree program and a PhD. In fact, our #1 population students from Nigeria, followed by Ethiopia. We have Ethiopians. We have a lot of Ethiopians at Osiri University. In fact, we find the students in Ethiopia, again, thinking about this idea of coming together. They couldn't, even though we are online, they couldn't wait to come together. So we had some of our students in Addis Ababa got together last month in August to sort of connect with each other in Addis Ababa. And if you go to our homepage at osiriuniversity.org, you will see a photo of the students who met on their own in Addis Ababa to connect with one another. It was really wonderful reports coming from that meeting. Once again, thank you for the invitation. I want to say kudos to you all. Let's keep celebrating Ethiopian calendar, and let's keep celebrating family. Ubuntu.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you, but we are having technical problems. I was having some challenges, but your explanation of Osiri University linked to the philosophies, ideas, knowledge originating from Africa is very important. So the calendar is also one of the great, I mean, as you can see, Zelalem is written